Hey y'all, it's BDC. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're doing Empyrion Galactic Survival, and this is a blueprint review of a ship I made for the Monkey Tools line called the Tug Monkey. Okay, it's a perfect name, trust me. Anyway, so one of the things that I wanted in the Monkey Tools collection was some form of a tugboat utility vehicle, something that could transport particularly HVs, maybe another SV, something that might not be warp capable, that kind of thing like that. So I came up with this idea of a tugboat, the Tug Monkey here in particular. His name always cracks me up. Anyway, so the original shape I had was basically how it turned out. This is one of the few times where I had kind of a vision of it in my mind's eye as to this is what I wanted to look like. A flat, almost to the ground ship carrying actual tug area right there. You know, where we put our HV or SV or whatever on, and then something with raised cockpit up here, so you kind of have to walk up a ramp and then go in there and do whatever. So this one actually turned out exactly pretty much how I wanted it. Obviously I had to make concessions for thrusters and O2 supply and fuel supply and where to stuff to warp drive and all that kind of stuff like that, so that influenced the shape of it. But it basically turned out pretty much exactly how I wanted it to look. A couple of things I wanted this ship to do besides just be able to haul something around like an HV, is also be able to carry a few crew members around. So the Tug Monkey can be used as a general support SV and not just a vehicle hauling type thing. It can carry 4 people. It's a total crew of 5. You got 1 for the pilot, and then we've got inside of here your typical crew amenities for stuff for storage. We have armor locker. We have container controllers rather, on both sides, so you can stash your typical support vehicle type stuff in there. Additional medical, additional weaponry, ammo, tooling, small arm stuff, whatever. 2 refrigerators, constructor, and direct access to both fuel and O2, so you don't have to do it through the control panel. O2 station, whatever. Let's see. And a lot of this stuff on this ship, I did motion activation. I did extra flares. I kind of really did a lot of dress-up stuff on this as I was putting the final touches on it. So things like the flares that you have, you've got your momentary blinking reds on the port side and on the starboard side. You've got your greens. So things like that I did, I kind of wanted to dress it up and, make it a little bit nicer than just a block thing with an HV parked on the back. Let's see, what else did I do? As far as some of the other stuff on here, let's take us over to night real quick, and I'll show some of the other stuff that was done. Kick the primary thrusters on. Let's go up. The ship is not too heavy because we just have thrusters on. So things like landing pad lights. So you've got landing pad lights for the bottom for a ship to be able to park on, and then you've got landing spotlights, so you can see below you. There's 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember how many that I put up there. The front spotlights at the front. So there's a lot that I really did to try and make this more truly a small crew-based vehicle, something that you could move some hardware from point A to point B. That's warp capable, that has the ability to support several people, lights up at night, that kind of thing. I mean, you could probably even classify this as an early mobile support base if you really wanted to. It's shielded and like I said, warp capable, so you can get from planet to planet in the system, stuff like that. So it could kind of facilitate some of that prior to actually getting a CV that's built, a good, a scaled CV with real stuff in it, real constructor, that kind of thing like that. So it works in that sense. So some other stuff I wanted to show here. Again, it is shielded, and it's got all these different options here for stuff that we can switch on and off. I've got everything on here just for the sake of demonstration of this video. But all these things are individual power groups that are set up in the signal logic portion here. Let's see, what else did we do? I got away with being able to make this, I remember this now, making this a tier 3 CPU. It was just under the limit from what I remember. It looks like they've made a little bit of changes to this since I last messed with this. Yeah, there we go, 38,900, so just under the 40,000 limit for a tier 3 CPU. That would force it to tier 4 and make it far more expensive. Let's see, creation stuff. Oh yes, detector. Creation materials, the materials that are needed for this. A little bit of E and Z ore, and I'm not sure off the top of my head what requires that. Small electronic bridge, it's going to be CPU related, and then typical tier 2, tier 1.5 cobalt, a bunch of titanium, and some other goodies. The hull is hardened steel. I didn't want this thing to get into some kind of combat and not be able to withstand a few hits. I mean, it does have a shield, but still, you know. So that made the ship heavier, so I had to concentrate a lot more on how I did the thrusters layout and, you know, what have you here. I tried to orient some of the smaller turning-based thrusters up towards the nose, since this thing is, you know, a longer SV, to try and give it a little bit more performance in terms of yaw and roll and, you know, pitch and that kind of thing like that. Particular yaw up here, and that was stuff that was done, I want to say version 1.0 or 1.2, I can't remember. It's been a little while now. Let's see. So I wanted to demonstrate here real quick how this works with the back. So I've got a motion sensor set up. It's tucked. Creative here. It's, or God mode. It's tucked directly underneath there, and it operates the landing ramps back here. So with all this is all nice and lit up, you can see where you're going. So I wanted to demonstrate with one of my Hover Monkey tooling HVs here. So, got your HV you want to transport, or let's say you have a driller or some other tooling vehicle, and just take this thing and mark it right on there. There's a little blast shield, for lack of a better word, if you want to call it that. I don't know what it's called. I put these in a lot of bases that I build, or ships where, you know, it has a hangar bay or something. I put this little shield up in front. So there you go. We've got an HV parked here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think this was an 11 by 11 pad, if I remember correctly. So it can fit quite a few vehicles. I mean, that's not exactly a, you know, a terribly small HV. I mean, of course, people build these, you know, humongous things for fun. So this thing's only so big, but your typical drillers, your typical single-seater applications, maybe even some salvager vehicles that you have, HVs, smaller tanks will fit on here. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is perfect for that kind of thing. It'll carry this thing around and it'll do it well. Let's see, so we've got direct access to main cargo. This thing can also haul cargo. It's not just a small ship tugboat, but we could also throw a, you know, bunch of crap in there. So total volume of 10,000, so that's kind of nice. There's your direct access for it. Inside of here, I think we've already gone over this. 4 seats, all the crew amenities, and then direct access into the cockpit. So one of the things I wanted to show that is typical of a lot of stuff that I build here in this game, flyer vehicles and HVs, is I have multiple power groups in terms of thrusters and what have you. And so boosters group is a common thing that I do, and boosters are usually intended to be top tier power, thrust, maneuverability if we need it, that sort of thing like that. So the boosters group, I've got an additional RCS, additional generators, and a ton of extra thrusters that kick on. So when you are playing in survival and you've got weights and volumes on, and you're starting to, you know, pump a lot of cargo into the, a lot of crap, a lot of resources or whatever, metals, let's say in particular, sathium. Let's say you go out for a sathium run, and you've got the driller on the back of the ship, and you pump all that heavy sathium into the cargo. Now you're carrying all that around. Then you've got the weight of the driller, and now the ship is suddenly tons heavier. So that's where the boosters group would come in handy. It kicks on additional banks of thrusters. Let's see if we can see them down there. To give this thing a lot more lift to be able to handle the extra weight that the ship carries. It's also for accommodating higher gravity, things like that. So, like I've mentioned in a few of my other videos, when I build these ships, it's not just aesthetics for me. It's not just, and that's for the ones that might actually look a little bit appealing. Much of the time, I do stuff that is function over form. I'm very heavy on the technical stuff, all the under the hood things that actually make stuff work, and so I have fully embraced the challenge having to do with weights and volumes. And many of the vehicles that I built prior to that being a thing in Empyrion, I redesigned with that in mind. The extra weight of carrying extra cargo in a driller, you know, that if you have a subterranean driller and you're in the ground and you're tumbling around and you're blasting all this iron or whatever other subterranean ore deposit you have down there, the cargo's filling up, the driller's getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and it might come to a point to where the driller won't be able to actually get back out of the tunnel that it created to go down there to mine in the first place. So those are the kinds of things that I embraced in particularly driller, you know, the drillers, the HV, stuff like that I've made, but also in ships, and it's something that I very much took into account here with this tugboat, because there's no telling how heavy of an object we're going to cram onto the back of this thing, and then whatever we're going to stuff into the cargo box, you know, is removing stuff from point A to point B. So I wanted this thing to have the capability of being overpowered to be able to do the job, especially in a more hostile gravity environment or what have you. So anyway, this is a Tug Monkey, and I had a lot of fun making this, and the name is just perfect for it because it's part of Monkey Tools. You know, there's your little Monkey Tools little emblem or logo or whatever it is you want to call it. I have a couple of those on the boat here, and it's a tugboat, so Tug Monkey. What can I say? It's a perfect name. I can't call it anything else. It fits. So, anywho, hope you guys enjoyed it. I will put the link to the Steam Workshop blueprint down below in the description, and questions or comments, if you have any at all, throw them down there. I can try to do my best to answer every one of them. If you would, please like and sub. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.